Back again with a new video. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Eastwood for Life fan, and this video is a video of my DVD and Blu-ray pickups in the month of April. And I'll start off with the Blu-rays for a change, and I picked up a couple of new releases on pre-order. And the first one that I will talk about is the Eurocrime movie Almost Human, which was released by Shameless Entertainment, which is a cult label which normally does Eurocrime, Italian horror and mainly cult movies. And I did have this edition on DVD, which I bought 6 months ago and checked out, and I'm a big fan of Thomas Milian, who is in this movie, and I love his spaghetti westerns. And the last 6 months I've been picking a few of the Eurocrime movies that he appeared in, and when I watched this for the first time was really shocked and amazed how great this movie is. It's a highly violent movie, and it's a must buy if you like your 70s sort of crime cop thrillers. And it's a great edition with loads of features in there, and also Henry Silva, who's been sort of typecasted as a villain much of his career. He actually plays the good guy, the cop, who tries to track down this crazy criminal played by Thomas Milian. So if you guys fancy a blind buy, do get this Almost Human release, because it's one of the best movies I've seen in the last sort of year, and looking forward to watching it for the second time and checking out the Blu-ray transfer. Great movie. And another new release that I picked up was the UK edition of Hard Times, put out by Eureka. And what a movie this is. Walter Hill's first movie that he directed, and it reunites James Coburn with Charles Bronson again. And Bronson plays a prized fighter in the Great Depression. Great movie, one of Bronson's best movies. And this is a great edition that Eureka put out, loaded with features, and it does contain a little booklet about the movie. This movie is also known as The Street Fighter in some countries, but what a movie this is. And if you're a Bronson fan, this is a essential buy. Hard Times. And then picked up a couple of titles from HMV, and to be honest, I don't normally buy my Blu-rays in HMV, as I normally buy them mostly online, and I just happened to pop into one of the stores in London, and they were doing this deal 2 for $25, and had to pick this 25th anniversary of Martin Scorsese's gangster classic Goodfellas. Great film with De Niro, Pesci and Ray Liotta. And a lot of the guys who later on went into The Sopranos are featured in this movie as well. You know, the recognisable faces that you see in a lot of the gangster movies. And I actually thought I had this in my collection before, but very happy that I jumped on this special offer. And it contains a little booklet, so that would be a good little read. One of the best gangster movies that was ever made, Goodfellas. And also the other movie that I got in the 2 for 25 deal is this Western, American Western, the Culpeper Cattle Company. And to be honest, I'd never heard of this Western until I was watching one of Shagrat 65's recent videos, and Kyle was reviewing this Western, which I'd never heard of, and I was pretty curious to get in this movie, you know, down the road. And I'd seen this in HMV as part of the offer and jumped on the offer. And I'd just watched this movie last weekend, and it's a great Western, very underrated. And it's good to be surprised in watching the film that you know very little about. And it's a very good one. And if you guys do like your American Westerns, then I strongly recommend this title. It's pretty similar to the storyline in John Wayne's The Cowboys, without giving too much away, but very, very good Western in the Culpeper Cattle Company. Now, I did pick up one steelbook in April, and this is the Zavvi steelbook of Steven Spielberg's classic E.T. And it's been a while since I've seen this movie, as I did see this when it was released in the cinema many years ago. And it's one of Steven Spielberg's greatest movies. I think this was limited on Zavvi, and when their steelbooks and titles are limited, you've really got to jump on it, because you never know when they get sold out, and they can go for crazy money. But looking forward to rewatching this, as I've only ever seen this movie just the once. E.T. And I popped in my local CX store and picked up a load of cheap titles, and I've been meaning to pick up The Guns of Navarone, classic war movie with Gregory Peck, David Niven and Anthony Quinn, and this is one of those great ones. And I'm actually surprised that I never picked this one up sooner, really. Just never got around to it. But I got this for a good price of £5 and had to jump on that in my local cash and exchange store. Guns of Navarone. And also I picked up Ridley Scott's take on Robin Hood, starring Russell Crowe. And I've never seen the Kevin Costner version, but that one doesn't really appeal to me, as it looks a little bit more glossy and more of a softer version. But this one looks a lot more darker, and this is the director's cut. And I think I paid about £2 for this, which is a bargain. Robin Hood, Russell Crowe. Do like the Ridley Scott movies, great director. Still showing the cheapies that I bought in CX. I bought the sequel to the Thor movie, and I'm not a massive Marvel fan. I do have my superhero favourites like SpiderMan, Thor, Captain America and Daredevil, and this was going cheap. I did like the first one, so I did see that in the cinema, and yet to watch the second one, and I'm hoping this is near as good as the first one, Thor. And also a TV series that I've been thinking about buying for quite a while was Boardwalk Empire, and I bought the first season in my local CX store. This was going for £4, and at that price could not turn it down. And I mainly bought this for Steve Buscemi, who I did love his character in Reservoir Dogs, and he was also in The Sopranos, and he played a great character in that series, which to me is my favourite and probably, in my opinion, the greatest TV series that was ever made. I'm hoping Boardwalk Empire is near as good as The Sopranos. So looking forward to checking this one out. I'd imagine it's going to be very similar, very violent, and all about gangsters. On to the DVDs that I picked up. First DVD I picked up to add to my Bronson collection is this French special edition of the movie Chino, an early 1970s western directed by John Sturges. And I do have the UK edition of this, and some countries this movie is known as the Valdez horses, but this is supposed to be the best picture quality of this movie, and it is pretty good, but there's only a slight sort of downfall on this release, because even though it contains an English audio, you can't get rid of the French subtitles, but I could withstand that, as it's the best version of this movie in Chino, and it's not a bad western. Some more westerns I picked up, and this is the Wild East version of Don't Turn the Other Cheek, starring Franco Nero and Eli Wallach. This is a comedy spaghetti western, and I do have another copy of this, but that copy is being thoroughly used and the cover is pretty battered, and I saw this going for a reasonable price, sealed, and had to jump on it because Wild East editions normally only sort of 1,000 copies that they print out, and they're very limited, and they can go for crazy prices. But this is a good spaghetti western. Basically, Eli Wallach plays more or less the same sort of character in this movie like he did in The Good, Bad and Ugly, Tuco, and it's a good, fun spaghetti western comedy. Don't Turn the Other Cheek. And this is the uncut version. I think there's an extra 15 to 20 minutes on this edition, because first time I'd watched this movie was on YouTube, so I'm looking forward to checking the full version of this movie. And sticking to spaghetti westerns, I picked up a soundtrack of one of my favourite spaghetti westerns, Face to Face, and this soundtrack was made by Ennio Morricone. Great spaghetti western starring Thomas Milian and Gianni Maria Volonté. And when I watched that movie, which is released on Blu-ray by Chino, and it's on UK DVD by Eureka, and love the music, and I said that I would pick this up someday, and I saw this going for a cheap price on eBay, and jumped on it. Face to Face, music by the legendary Ennio Morricone. And then the last DVDs that I picked up are cartoon series, SpiderMan, and I want to send a big shout out to a well-known YouTuber who was formerly known as the Cartoon Collector, and he's now known as BlurayCollectorNL. NL. He's from the Netherlands, known as Wes. And check his channel out because he has a great collection in cartoons, Disney movies and animation. And Wes actually gave me a shout out on one of his recent videos, so I am returning the favour, as he is a great collector in cartoons and animation. And I would suspect that Wes has got all the SpiderMan 1960s cartoon series. I bought these in my local CX store. I bought the first 2 volumes, and they were literally giving these away. And volume 2, season 1, volume 3, and then season 2. I do know there is a season 3, and they didn't have that one on sale. It was just the first 2 seasons. And volume 2 and volume 3 of season 2. But it's a great cartoon series that I watched back in the day with the catchy intro, and as a kid grew up watching the adventures of Spider-Man battling against the villains like Dr. Octopus, Sandman and the Green Goblin. So that's all my Blu-rays and DVD titles in the month of April. So please do check out BlurayCollectorNL and check out the videos that Wes has put on. Great collector, and please check the channel out. So that is all the titles in the month of April, and feel free to sub or drop a comment about these editions. It's always good to hear from you guys, and I think the next video that I will upload will be part 2 of my Bronson collection. So see you all soon. Take care.